Hey everybody, it's time for a market update. I think this month's update lines up perfectly with pretty much everything that's cooking on the market with tariffs, the S&P going to zero, and pretty much everything else. So we're gonna start and we're gonna cover obviously the basics. I'm gonna go over the scenarios. Maybe while I'm doing this, maybe Bitcoin will start breaking down. So let's see, it will be interesting. And I'm gonna cover also at towards the end my current allocation, my portfolio, what my plans are till pretty much the rest of the year, and what I see in general and what I feel right now. And we'll go over some of the trades that I took in the last week or so. So first of all, zooming out, monthly doesn't look great. So we had this March that closed a few days ago, and we had this week to the upside and to the downside. So pretty much we almost closed where we started the month, just a few points below. But then clearly we could see the breakdown of this zone right here around 90, 100K. And the next valuable area of interest is somewhere here, the previous consolidation. So this is around 70, 60, 70K area. It's a massive area. I completely agree. If somebody sees this and is a bit like, Z, this is huge. But I think when we zoom out on the weekly and on the daily, we could see some levels that we could potentially trade into and be good buying opportunities. So monthly, very clean. I would say the monthly hasn't really broken structure just yet, but we need to go way down in order for us to break structure. Like th this usually gives very late signals, and if we're breaking down a 50 to break structure on the monthly. Well, yeah, that's pretty much game over, and you'll be holding from 100 plus K, 50% drawdown, which is not great. So that's why we take a look at the weekly. And that's actually one of my favorite time frames, if not my favorite, to generally base my analysis. And very clearly, we see the breakdown again of this area. We can now obviously fine tune it here around 90 to 92K. It was support for a while on this range. It snapped. We have this, I don't even know how to say it, the announcement of the strategic Bitcoin reserve. We had the week up, then the next day we had another sell-off because obviously the news wasn't what everybody expected. And now pretty much with all the positive news priced in, this is where we're at. This is like the breakdown we're having. And pretty much it's mostly driven by the Trump administration and most importantly by the stock market and the weakness we've seen on the stock market. There are several reasons, macro reasons for this. We're not going to get into this. I'm not like a macro expert. I could give you my 2 cents about it. But generally speaking, the markets are scared. And crypto as a risk asset is obviously trading scared as well. Although it's been holding up pretty well the last few days, I would say. But this probably is about to change very soon. So yeah, we had the whole tariff scare. We actually had Trump officially implementing them like a few days ago. And in general, my thinking is that it doesn't matter if you think this is good or bad. It's a matter of how do you make money in this situation? Is there a play or something that you can do and make money? I personally view this as a generational opportunity, not only in crypto but in stocks, because for most of my like trading and investing career, I've been focused on crypto. But now with everything happening on legacy markets, I think there will be like one of the easiest plays there. And yeah, we're going to look into Bitcoin a bit more in detail, but I wanted to talk about this that in the next year or so, probably one of the easiest plays will be like the Magnificent Seven stocks, chip, and AI stocks when they get their corrections, because these are technologies and these are products that there will be of high demand for the coming future. I don't doubt this. And pretty much the top seven companies in the world, they all got discovered. Like they are either in chip manufacturing, they have their own AIs or robotics. And I think those will be narratives and will actually produce some value, unlike crypto, because crypto, it's very speculative, but companies that generate income and have clients and are at a 50% discount maybe at some point, I think they're just no-brainer. That's why I've started accumulating slowly some stocks and indices. But yeah, that's, let's say, the more boring stuff that I've been doing. On the crypto sides, now weekly, very weak, I would say. We've had this 80 to 78 to 80 area that has been holding up pretty well. And you can see this very clearly on the weekly. We have failed to close below this level, 80 level, for several weeks in a row, actually. Pretty much a month, even a little bit more. And that has been very good news for crypto. 'Cause it was like we were waiting for the bounce and we were waiting for a lot of overhead resistance. So we obviously had a weekly breakdown, and usually in crypto, this, and in general in any market, it's a significant breakdown when you have a weekly market structure break. So we had the breakdown here on this close, and then we had also the bounce. The bounce was relatively weak to what people expected. So I had areas around 90 as first level of trouble, and then around 100. And I was looking for something like this to happen in order to turn bullish. Obviously, this hasn't happened, and with the current environment in stocks that are looking very, very scary, and everyone's talking about a Black Monday tomorrow, meaning that we're going to have probably another really, really down day. And just for reference, for those that are hiding under a rock, this is the chart of the S&P from last week, or this week, I should say. We're down almost 9%. And from the top, from when the tariffs were announced right here, this is even more. This is like 11, 12% drawdown on the S&P. Still looks pretty high up, but you can see how nasty and ugly this has been. And we haven't had a crash like this since COVID, pretty much. So people were expecting more downside. Me personally, I'll be looking to start accumulating more somewhere in this area. So we're already at 5K, or maybe a little bit lower. I would say it's quite feasible to get there and maybe then stabilize, get a bounce. We'll see what happens there. But crypto hasn't had this type of move. We're pretty much doing still, if we compare it to the indices, we're doing this right here. So we're kind of consolidating here still. That might change, but it still hasn't changed. And it hasn't changed. Let me just clean this chart. We can draw it. Wait, I can do the other one. Too many charts. Uh, yeah. So let me just zoom back out. So yeah, we're consolidating and potentially we're looking for the breakdown to this next area around here. And right away from this big box, the first that level that stands out for me is this area right here. So around 66 to 70K. This is on the weekly, pretty much where the Trump rally started when he got elected. So I think it's a magnet. We could front run it because technically this year was resistance for quite some time, and we could potentially have the first test around 70K to make it into support now. So I could see this level holding. And honestly, like if you buy at 71 or at 70 or 68, whatever, I don't think that's a big difference for crypto, obviously, and for Bitcoin. The question is, first of all, are we gonna get here? And if we get here, what happens next? So let's look at the probabilities here on Bitcoin. So first of all, on the daily, this has been incredibly strong level. Just delete this. We had a pretty much one close below this level, below 80, and now we're pretty much testing it. So right now we are at support on the lower time frames on Bitcoin. And I'm not gonna come here and tell you like this is going to break 100%. I don't know what's gonna happen. And honestly, if anyone tells you what's gonna happen, and I made a whole video about this, about the M2 money supply and all about how, yes, liquidity is coming any day and we're gonna pump. Sure, but what happens before that? We could still go down to 60K, have a full-blown bear market for like 6 months, and then start running up. It's not like the bottom is in and it's right here. We don't know this. And I've been vocally bearish for quite some time already. I'm close to the lowest exposure I've ever been in crypto, percentage-wise from my portfolio. So, I've been bearish, but I cannot tell you that this will 100% go down. I'm betting on it, but I see a scenario where tomorrow this Black Monday trade is overcrowded pretty much, and we just wick into here, close back above it, and stocks don't collapse further, and then we see another rally, another push into the 90K area. I'm not saying this will break because technically we haven't even tested it on as a resistance. Well, yeah, you might argue this was a first test here on the announcement of the strategic Bitcoin reserve. But I could totally see this. I could totally see this happening. I think this will be quite bullish for crypto overall, but I don't think it's the end of the story. My personal base case is that we do a fuck ton of nothing for the next 6 months, and that's the better situation that we might be in. The worst, and obviously the one that will be more favorable for my positioning, is if we go further down. So if crypto starts breaking down together with stocks, or at least catches up to the breakdown of the stock market. So anything in this area, I'll be very happy to see. But also, if how can I put it? If we get here, I think this could get again very ugly for quite some time. Maybe even capitulate lower. Maybe that's even the end of the bull market, and it takes us quite some time to recover. Because these things play out slow. They don't just recover the next day. We could have a scenario where we had the last bull run, like just before the summer, we had a collapse, and then we chopped around during the entire summer, and then we started running a little bit into August, September. I could see this, but the environment and the overhang from the macro side, it's massive. So I wouldn't be betting on this scenario right here for another leg up. However, if we get a liquidity injection much earlier and the Fed starts cutting, yes, I would say this is in the cards, but I'm not betting right now on it. And I think this will be quite obvious when it happens. You will see it. Obviously, there will be news from the Fed and from the stock market as well if it starts recovering, but usually these takes quite a while to play out. So I would say even if we get here, I'll probably buy at 70, but I wouldn't be going all in because I could totally see us, and crypto does this quite often. I could totally see us going to the bottom of this range. Because this here, yes, technically could turn into support, but usually um, like a bear market is over with a capitulation. So I wouldn't say getting into 70K will be a capitulation. It's not that big of a move, in my opinion. From here to here, it's like 10%. I mean, the stocks collapsed 10%. So crypto should be at least double. So I can totally see us getting a lot lower than 70K. So yes, I will be buying somewhere around here, but I wouldn't be going full size. Why would that be? Just to summarize and simplify. First, I think if we get here, even if we don't go lower, there will be a time of consolidation where there will be a better entry with higher probability to play out than just blindly buying this. Or we could go potentially lower and then give me even better cost average on my entries on Bitcoin. I hope everyone's clear. If you have obviously questions about this, just let me know. We'll cover it with a little bit more detail. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm kind of planning for on Bitcoin and what I'm preparing myself. I obviously had a, let's just go over the trade here. I had a short that I posted on the day of the announcement of the tariffs. We were suspiciously running, and I actually turned on Trump while he was speaking, and he was pretty damn serious about these tariffs. And I was like, this must be just market makers pushing the price up to get into their short positions and short hedges. And that's exactly what happened. But I honestly didn't play the trade as good as I could have. just because let me just go on the 4 hour. You can see it a little bit better. So we were getting into this level, which for me is a confluence of this area here around 88K or as horizontal resistance, and of this downtrending line here, which has had several very, very good touches on the way down, and quite a significant level here to play around. And we had those two levels, and we had this pump into the speech of Trump, and I started entering around 87.8, I would say somewhere around here, 86, 87.6, something like here was my entry. And then I saw price rally up a bit more, and I didn't pull the trigger, and I should have added more size right here. Had the perfect conditions. I was just waiting, and that's what stopped me. I was waiting for these highs to get run over. Um, this year. So pretty much we barely tagged it. I was hoping we'll get somewhere in here close to 90K to run all those stops from here and then start declining. And I was just waiting for this to happen to add size. It didn't happen, obviously. So I was left with the size that I had. I've pretty much hedged around 25% of my portfolio. So it's still quite a hedge, but it's not like I was ready to 100% hedge my portfolio. And you might ask, okay, why are you hedging and not just straight selling your Bitcoin? I think it's a little bit irresponsible to sell all my Bitcoin, just again because of the uncertainty and the unknowns, because we could still rally, we could still um, push higher if the printer turns back on, and there's so many factors that I was like, okay, do I want to like have zero crypto exposure, or do I want to hedge and have some crypto just because I'm already very, very heavy in cash and in TOT bonds. Yeah, I know. So that was my thinking. And I'm happy with the position, honestly. I'm still gonna keep holding it. Honestly, if we see some signs of strength tomorrow, I'll probably just cut it because technically this is a very good level to take profit and maybe look for another entry. But for now, I'm just gonna sit tight and let it play out. I've moved my stop to like 85K, so I don't think we should be getting above here if we are to break down further. And as you can see, just as of right now, we are starting to see the breakdown. But again, is it going to close? I think that will be the key thing here. Are we going to have follow through tomorrow? And we have been so correlated, except for the past few days with stocks, that I would want to see us open on Monday and then see what happens. Yeah, Bitcoin might be trading much lower then, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I'm sitting comfy right now. I'm sitting in a huge pile of cash plus 25% hedge. So I'm nice. There are a few other trades that didn't play out. Now they're probably playing out, but let's look at XRP first. So XRP started to break down, and for me, this is a very, very significant level. And if $2 gives out, there's open space to like 1.5, even lower. So I think this will be a very nice short if I'm able to catch it and front run the whole thing, or if it happens while I'm not sleeping. And for this, I didn't manage to get it the first time because this was the breakdown on the 4 hour. You can see it here, but it was looking kind of strong, and that I was like, I wasn't. I wasn't I didn't understand why crypto was so strong like, on Thursday and Friday, honestly. But now you can see that the trade was like this. Let me just show you the setup. So I entered somewhere around here, and I had my stop. Where was it? Here. So lower time frame trade. And I was like, okay, if this is to break down like some other tokens did, this shouldn't come back above this level. It did. It stopped me out. Now it's coming back to it, which I think is a very like big sign of weakness. And you can see on the daily and on the weekly, the momentum has been falling down for XRP, and I think it's a matter of time if this will break down. But you can see like the lower highs each time this thing bounces. And I was tempted today to actually short it at support, and that's usually a rule I try to avoid, shorting at support. Uh, but it's just looking so weak, and I'm just like thinking that I could get sidelined for this just because if it gives out this level, I think it's gonna be a fast drawdown and it won't just give me an entry at all. So that's why I was willing to take this risk and get stopped out while waiting for this breakdown to happen. Maybe something will happen today and maybe we get a signal, but for now, I just don't see a clear trade, a clear setup based on the rules I follow. But I'm tempted again to technically a bit FOMO into it to not miss the big move. So let's see what happens. Another one was Layer. I got stopped out of this one at least for break even because this one is looking very, very strong. I don't understand why with these conditions. And once this gives out, I think it will be again a violent move to the downside. For now, it's been chopping around. As you can see, the wicks here, like SFP, SFP, SFP. So we'll see what happens. I'm not shorting it for now, but again, it's quite tempting with how things are unraveling and how the stock market is looking. And with all the fears, it just makes sense for crypto to also break down, but we haven't really broken down, guys. Like we're still in this area, and that's why I've been hesitant to add to this or to any other shorts after I got stopped out in the last couple of days. So yeah, that's these are my trades and my thoughts. Let me just see for any messages. Okay, we covered the hedge. Um, how do I short BTC? Okay, so if you are not aware, you can just basically go to any centralized exchange, go to futures and short BTC there with stables. So pretty much you don't need collateral as Bitcoin or anything else. You just need some stables and it's a leverage trade. You put like 5x, 10x, whatever you feel comfortable with, and you just sell, and that's it. So you're betting that the market will go down. That's how I hedge. That's how I play it. When it comes to like my portfolio allocation and what I mean by being heavy in cash, uh, right now I'm like, so I would say about, maybe I can write this down. So from my crypto exposure, I'm 30% in BTC. These are rounded numbers. These are not like, I have about 4 to 5% in alts, and this is something like I have a little bit of Solana. I have a little bit of Hyperliquid because I'm staking it for potential airdrop, but I think that ship has sailed and I'll probably lose a lot of money there. And that's it, honestly. And all the other stuff is in cash. So I'm like, let me just double check something. Yeah, that's even lower, actually. I would say this is about 2%. Bitcoin is about 25% currently. And I'm sitting on 70 plus percent in in cash. This is on my crypto portfolio. And keep in mind, I have drawn out, I've withdrawn quite a bit of profit through the past month from crypto. So this is pretty conservative. And to understand how conservative Bitcoin, like this allocation of Bitcoin for me, it's about less than 10% of my overall uh, investment portfolio. And that's been the lowest since forever for me. So I'm pretty low on crypto right now and pretty heavy on cash. And some of the other cash that is not part of my portfolio, I keep in treasuries. I've been DCAing into TOT. Z is much better than me in this, but I've been just storing some cash here. And it's been doing well for now. We'll see how it goes next week and going forward till the end of the year. But I'm still holding it for significant amount of time for now. All right, so we're breaking down at 80K. That will be interesting to see what happens in the next 5, 10 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty much my allocation. And my plan is, as I mentioned, I'll probably be looking to deploy somewhere around here, some of the cash, and to close my hedge here, if we get there, of course. And then I will stick probably only to Bitcoin, for the foreseeable future. I do like some altcoins, but I just don't see them, especially after the year we had. I just don't see them doing well in an environment where Bitcoin is not in a bull run. Because everybody and their mom was expecting an altcoin run. We didn't get it. And I don't see a reason for us getting it right now. Maybe if we get a bounce, something like this, I could play some bounce plays. So maybe we get into here with aggression, and then we have another bounce to like 75-ish, 80, and then maybe we chop around or do whatever, have another extension to the downside. Maybe during this leg up, outs will do well. But still, I think the risk will be significant. And like, which outs do you choose from the sea of outs? So it's just too many. And that's why I'm not even talking about. We can go over like Solana and some other stuff. But pretty much, if we get a bounce, I will try to play through Bitcoin right here. And maybe I'll get involved with some altcoins, but we'll see. Because we haven't really had a situation like this where macro has been really bad, uh, and there has been a lot of uncertainty in the general markets. And I don't see just Bitcoin going on a tear while this is happening, unless they're like what happened with the banking crisis. Unless we have banks going bankrupt and keeping people away from their money, and then people going to Bitcoin as safe haven, I just don't see us going up from here in a significant way. So that's why I think it's very important to have the mindset of patience, and that this could take years to like turn into a bull market. There might be little opportunities, but just zoom out depending on the type of trader and investor that you are, and like be very patient, have your rules, and have cash, and just DCA at levels that you believe are significant. But I'm telling you guys, like, I don't know what has to happen for us to recover very quickly. So I think there will be plenty of opportunities, including like now it's April. Usually May till August are relatively slow for the market. So I don't expect us to have massive bounces. I will be there if they happen. I will monitor the charts, but this is just not my base case. So yeah, I think we'll have plenty of time to accumulate Bitcoin or whatever else you might want to do. When it comes to other stuff like Solana, it's just massive, massive breakdown. Absolutely no let go of this downtrend. I tested a long here, didn't play out. Glad I closed it. And I was just breaking down, and I think this could go much lower. Uh, like somewhere around here might be an area of interest. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe around 90. We could have a pause, but again, if this turns into an ugly bear market, these will get back to zero. Ethereum, I made a whole video about this, but let's just have a quick look. Very, very ugly, ugly chart. And I'm just not liking it. And yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much everything. I'm just gonna stop it here. If you don't have any other question, I'm just gonna monitor the charts because I think might potentially um have to open another riskier short, maybe on XRP or some other coin. But I think if we are going to see a breakdown, it might just happen here overnight for me. So I just want to be monitoring this. And as always, if you have any questions, you know how to find me.